Let me start this video by saying this. Dumb people allow themselves to be told how to think. Smart people think on their own. A lot of people like to say they're educated because they were taught in school how to do things, how to think, what to say, how things are. But if you're truly smart, you could think with your own head and see beyond what you're told. So today I want to talk to you about the pride of being a Boricua.
Group of people that they want us to refer to as indigenous. That would mean, in the ways of our understanding of the word indigenous, that we are just one people. We are one people. And it is that we are not just one people. If you have the people of Europe or the Middle East or Asia, they all have their languages. They are all separate beings. They are all separate type of ways. And if you refer to me as an indigenous person, then you could, I could be an Alaskan. I could be a Peruvian. I could be a Brazilian. Or I could be a Puerto Rican or some other people. That would be wrong to the net. We're not indigenous.
All around the world, it's very important for people to know where they're from, to know about their culture and who they are. Like, you can't go around calling a Chinese person a Japanese because they hate each other. You'll be in the receiving end of a hard time. A Korean is different from a Chinese and a Japanese. They're three different types of people and you could not confuse them. It's a very important thing for a Puerto Rican to not be called a Dominican because we're not the same. We don't like it when people confuse the Puerto Rican flag with a Cuban flag. There's a difference between a Dominican, a Cuban, and a Puerto Rican. You can't just be saying we're all the same because we take offense to that. You know, it's a very common thing in America to call black people the N-word instead of actually treating them like people and telling them, hey, where are you from? Maybe they're from Jamaica, maybe they're from Africa, maybe they're from America. It's different, bro. You can't just generalize everybody under one title. And that's the whole problem that I personally have with the Latino title. Because when you group everybody under the same title, you're basically saying their heritage or who they particularly are individually doesn't matter. And as a proud Puerto Rican, that really is an insult. When you use the term Latino, then you call me a Latino, then where am I from? I could be Colombian, I could be Mexican, bro. Anybody could be a Latino. Where am I from? That strips my identity away completely. Like, a Latino title is a blanket title used by colonizers back in the day to strip identities away. It's part of the programming. And of course, schools, the school system taught everybody this because we were conquered. A lot of countries were conquered. They don't care. You know, it's that you can't just call a white person white and generalize them because there's a difference between somebody from Britain and somebody from France and somebody from Berlin. Like, you can't just generalize things because everybody will be insulted. Yet somehow we use these titles and nobody cares because they're taught in school. They're taught by the generalized media that that's what you should be called. But they're stripping your identity away. They make it seem like we're all working together as a one group of Latinos. But then when people are racist against us, when they confuse where we are from, when they straight up think we're all the same and we all deserve the same treatment, and they're straight up racist against us, then it doesn't really work out for us, does it? Then we're in the receiving end and it's our fault because we allowed them to generalize us under one title. So to them, we're all the same, and we allowed that to happen. When in reality, we have different dialects. They might be similar, but we talk different. We got different accents. We got different culture, a different history. You know, if you just call me a Latino, you're stripping away the struggles of my people. Like a Cuban has a story. Cuba has a story, and they have their own struggles. If you group me up with them, their struggle is gone. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. Then my people and my struggle don't matter either. Our history of becoming Americans and how we suffered and how all we've been done wrong just goes away because we're all the same. Aren't you just all from the South America? Aren't you all Latinos, all the same? That is literally giving them the key to be straight up racist against us, to lose our identity. And everybody starts saying, I'm Latino, and they're ignorant about it because they don't know history. They just go with the popular opinion. They go with what they're told, and then they say, well, I was taught in school. Well, how about you think with your brain and stop thinking about what they taught you? Because that's how they got you where you are. That's how your identity don't matter. You allowed it to happen.
Every Native American tribe, they are not identical. They don't speak the same language. They have their own different cultural, traditional ways. But they try to, be recognized as a Native American person or American Indian. And the thing that happens is that because people don't recognize that there are some 600 or so different tribes here in the United States, perhaps Canada, and they have their own ways, their own language. We are not the same. And it is that they have their own ways of doing things and recognizing themselves, and they have their own identity. And the one thing is, we don't all speak the same language, and we don't all eat the same types of food. Our ceremonies are different. Our stories are different. They are similar in some ways, in many ways. And it is that we are, as Dene, a different type of people in many ways. We have been the race of people, and to divide people, which is very dangerous. And one of those words is, of course, indigenous. Indigenous people. There are people all over the world. They have their own language, they have their own culture. But it's in modern times where words are made and applied to people to divide them. So to me, as a Dene, the word indigenous is not something that is good to apply to our Dene. And when you say indigenous, we live on a continent here. We have people to the north of us in Alaska. We have people to the north of us in Canada. We have people to the south of us in Mexico and out into the Puerto Rican places and Peru and Honduras and Brazil and southern parts of this continent. They have their own cultural ways. They have their own language. And together, all of us is lumped into one great big.
I really don't understand how people could just sit there and not see it. How they could just regurgitate what they were taught in school, and that's what they know. History books made by the conquerors. What they were taught, that's it. They just say the repeating agenda. They say it over and over, never using their brain and thinking outside the box. How are you okay with just being a generic title, a gray title that means nothing? Nothing for you in particular. Are you okay with that? And it boggles my mind and how people don't see it. It really, like, why do you care of carrying your flag if you're just gonna be generalized as a one people when you're not a one people? You care about your country. Either you're carrying your Jamaican flag, your Mexican flag, your Puerto Rican flag. You are proud and loud, and we are all proud and loud of our peoples and our cultures and our food. Like, is it okay if I could claim that Jamaican food is my food because we're both Hispanic? No. It's not okay, bro. It matters. It matters to us, our identity, our ancestors, our history, our struggles. And when you follow the book, where you follow the way you were taught, without using your brain, I don't even know what to think about you, because you actually argue like you know what you're talking about. And it confuses the hell out of me how you don't see how these things matter. Identity matters. It's not okay to call somebody from Pakistan the same as Palestine. They're two different places. They sound similar, but they're two different peoples. Switzerland is not the same as Sweden. They're not the same places. They're not the same people. They're totally different, and it's messed up when you confuse them, right? You don't care. You're straight up borderline racist that way. Because if you don't care about a person's culture or specific, but these people care though. They care. There's a divide between Scotland and England. There's a divide. If you're Scottish, you're Scottish, not English. If you're English, you're English. And don't confuse them with an Irish person. An Irish person is an Irish person from Ireland, bro. Are you just gonna call them all the same? Do they all look the same to you? Do they all sound the same to you? If you group people up under one title, then you're just straight up racist. Because to you, they all look the same. But they're not. They eat the different food. They got different culture, different dialect, different music, and it matters. It's important to be seen because you want to be seen. You're proud of your people, and as a Puerto Rican, this is the point of the video. As a Puerto Rican, a Boricua, our original title. I don't like the title Latino. This is what this video is about, and this is important to me. I care because it's my people, my culture, my pride, my history, my ancestors. These things matter to me. And if you're truly a Puerto Rican, so if you care about your people and your heritage and your history, how about you tell people to stop calling you a Latino? To stop generalizing you. How about if you're Mexican, you're Mexican. If you're Irish, you're Irish. It matters unless you're not proud of your heritage and your people. Like a lot of these crazy Americans that hate America. How crazy is that? Not knowing all the privileges they got. But to me, my heritage, my people matter. And if you're a proud Puerto Rican, I'm pretty sure it's important to you too. Our flag, our history. Don't allow them to take that away from you. Don't let the colonizers win by just following their blind agenda, because you're a fool that don't know how to think by yourself. There's nothing worse than somebody who just follows the agenda, that just follows whatever everybody says without knowing, without actually reading about it, knowing the history about it, knowing why it happened. Just pure ignorance, just following along with everybody else because they don't know any better, but they love to pretend like they know. And then when you ask them questions, they just regurgitate the same things that they were taught. The same mindless following. Like, it's crazy to me how people can't think, how people don't know, and they love to argue like they know, but they don't know. Especially when you pry deeper into their mind, they end up saying nonsense. They end up saying nonsense or things that they just heard. They didn't even go there and read it for themselves or nothing. They just heard it. It's been repeated so much to their minds that they believe it's true. They can't even tell the story right. they start looking for what? For Google to give them answers because they can't think. It's crazy. They start looking through paperwork and facts because I had a video like this, and people, what? They were giving me textbook answers. They were looking for records and stuff made by the colonizers, made by the people that this is not true history. This is the history they want to tell. Because they don't want to tell you the history that they want you to forget. This is how we allowed ourselves to be here. By allowing them to completely erase history and write it their own way. That's why it's important to know, to read, to follow up on these stories. Like I do joke a lot about not reading, but don't read nonsense. Read things that matter. So before I finish the video, I just want to say I'm a Puerto Riqueño, loud and proud. Proud of my flag, my heritage, and my peoples. And if you care, you care. If you don't, you do you. I'm not gonna force you. If by this point in the video you don't understand the things I'm saying, then you're too far gone into the brainwash. You're too far gone into what they told you. And there's no way to fix it. And I'm not trying to fix it. But I'm gonna leave the video right here, guys. And if this video was informative or actually opened your eyes in any way, I would appreciate a like. Maybe you want to share it with somebody who's blind, so maybe they could see why it matters. I appreciate everybody who made it this far into the video, because you're showing me that this random Puerto Rican, at least you care a little bit. And if you're Puerto Rican, then you care about your heritage. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.